Hello YouTube and welcome to... I don't know if this is going to be a test or an actual start for the LP, but since I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with Dragon Age Origins, but since I'm without internet and I'm also without Steam, it kind of limits to what I can actually record, so we'll be recording this. I'm going to start a new game. This is, of course, Final Fantasy X, one of my favorite Final Fantasies. And it features two versions of the character advancement sphere grid. Standard for beginners and expert for repeaters. And I always pick the expert one. I like it more. It's a little bit more open, I guess. I don't really know the actual differences between the two grids. But yeah, we'll go with that one. You can't change it in game, so once you've made your choice, you have to go with that through to the end. And this is on an emulator, so there could be moments where the FPS drops and it kind of starts sound like a broken record or something, but when I started LPing, this was one of the first games that I had in mind to actually do an LP of, and it's one of the games that I've always wanted to do because it is an awesome game. As I slowly try to open my hoodie up so I can actually take it off, as it's kinda hot. There it goes. I don't want you to hear like me opening the zipper on it. And the hoodie's off, so there's no talking here, so I can freely talk myself. If you don't know what Final Fantasy is, there is a huge hole in your general knowledge of gaming, since it's one of the biggest RPG series of all time. But this is the 10th part, the first one on the PS2, and either my second or my third favorite Final Fantasy of all time. Love it, played it to death, and yeah, I've been wanting to do this for the longest time, and now I actually have a computer good enough to actually emulate the game at a good FPS with fraps on recording, as because when you play PC games and if it dips, the FPS dips, you don't really get anything other than, you know, low frame rates. But in this game, if it dips while you're emulating it, the voices go like this and it's really slow, and it kind of gets annoying. But I think that will be good for now, and if the emulating goes good, I might do the GTA games that came out on the consoles only, the Stories games, I believe they were called. And I'd like you to meet the newest member of Backstreet Boys. Titus is his name, or Titus, or whatever, however it's pronounced.
To my story. This may be our last chance.
Yes. So a little opening to the game. You actually see all the main characters, and the title comes up, Final Fantasy X. I don't know why it changes it X. Well, of course, they've always had Roman numerals since the very first part, or game. They're not really parts, as there's no continuation between the games. But we're to get started with the story. Like I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do with Dragon Age yet. We'll see. But if I do end up canceling it due to just not being interested, this is what you will be seeing instead of that. It's a little more fast-paced, easier to follow, and so on, so it could be even better. They have the weirdest sense of fashion ever. Like, people in Final Fantasy games always have the most weirdest, the weirdest, not the most weirdest, but the weirdest sense of fashion ever. And I've always been reminded of Altair when I see him. I don't know why. It's the hood. And there is Titus again. I don't think that I'll be renaming any of the characters. I generally like to keep them with their original names. I could rename the Aeons to something else. Like, at this part, Seems very good. FPS is around 50. Uh, Usually if it dips down below 40, then you'll actually start hearing the music get slower and the voices get slower and everything. But hopefully that doesn't happen.
Can you sign this?
Sure.
No props.
And that's why I said this is a test as well as just normal recording. Yeah, I already said yes. Why would I sign one and not the other?
Take it easy.
So apparently we're some kind of a superstar. I wish I had people around my house asking for my autograph, especially women.
Can I have your
Signed in
autograph?
titties.
Of course.
Would have been funny if he had taken the ball and still signed the
Nothing
titties.
to worry about. Oh, if I score a goal, I'll, do this. That will mean it was for you, okay?
Yeah, that's what you say to every girl.
What seat?
He's blocking the front row. Fifth from the right.
As if he's gonna remember
Got it.
that when the match starts. He's probably gonna have some other stuff to think about. And where that one girl
Gotta
was
go.
sitting.
Cheer for me.
2, 3. Teach us how to blitz.
Nope.
Hey, I got a game to play.
Then teach us after.
Maybe tonight, well,
You can't tonight.
I mean tomorrow.
Promise?
Promise.
Blue goggles. They're all wearing goggles. Well, not all of them, but it's kind of. I just can't wrap my head around that. Oh yes, full motion videos, FMVs. Hopefully those are good. Like generally, it's these kinds of scenes that have a bunch of stuff going into the distance and a lot going at the front that are the most heavy on the emulating. So seeing as how that didn't freeze at all, it was at a stable 50 FPS. Kind of gives hope for those of you who played the game. Me and the High Road is one of the places where I dread to go because of the fact that there's so much going on the screen, and that is probably the place, if any, that's gonna give me some
I
slowdown.
was in a coffee shop running away from home when I heard the news. Our hero, checked, gone, vanished into thin air. My dad must have been his biggest fan. I knew how sad he'd be. Heck, we all were that day. Zanar, I says to myself, what are you thinking? I went running straight back home. We sat up talking about Jack all night. My dad and I never talked so much. Whoa. Didn't mean to reminisce.
Well, you did anyways. Anyway, 10 years later, the Jack Memorial Cup tournament is...
Make way, make way!
Ah, I hate this part. You have to get
Coming through, sorry.
through the people, and first part,
Hey,
well,
I'm
first
gonna be
cutscene
late.
is coming up, so after that I'll be checking the video
Let
file
go.
and see how it sounds and shit, how it rolls basically. Hopefully it doesn't freeze or anything. Come on, get in there. Apparently this watery barrier keeps people out. And cutscene time, I believe. Yep. And so everything is destroyed. Thank you for watching. This has been Let's Play Final Fantasy X. Oh, it continues. I guess it does. Come on, get up. I wonder how you survived the fall in the first place. That's kind of weird. There's Auron, the greatest character of all time.
Auron! What are you doing here?
Sir Auron, I mean.
What are you talking about?
Alright, let's follow him. Apparently, he seems to know a lot. I'm very happy with how the game is rolling at the moment. No serious dips in the FPS.
Huh? Huh?
Huh? It's Altair once again. Everyone else is frozen.
It begins.
What?
Don't cry.
I wasn't going to. And we're back. Leave the mushrooms to Mario. When that happens, we get haunted by some little kid.
Huh? Hey, wait!
And we're still chasing Auron.
Hey, not this way!
Look,
Gasp. What is it?
we called it sin.
Sin?
Come on, say something. You kind of look like you do. Oh, that's laggy. Well, the first lag spike was there. Kind of surprised that it was in a cutscene. Those usually aren't very laggy. But it's back to good now.
Take it.
A sword.
A gift from Jet.
My old man?
One of the things that I've always loved about Final Fantasy games is the.
I hope you know how to use it.
Yes, we do. All of a sudden, is the sword designs. They're usually very, very awesome.
These ones don't matter. We cut through.
Obviously, Auron. Alright, so we got our first fight. They're one-hit kills. Nothing too complicated. Just press A a couple times for on the gamepad that I have. It's 3.